ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
This is The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Now, here's Frank Morano.
Well, this is our last live radio show, at least hosted by yours truly, of 2024. So I thought it would be fun to go out with, by having some fun, go out with a bang. And I wanted to welcome to the studio a gentleman who I have become a big fan of, both personally and professionally, a guy that has been an integral contributor to our show's success over the last year, and someone I find endlessly entertaining, and he lets me occasionally bust his chops on the radio, but he really is just such a wonderful guy, and I think that comes across in all of his appearances. I want to welcome stand-up comic Fred Rubino. Hello there, Fred.
Thank you for having me. I like that you used the words "has been" in my introduction.
How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was fantastic. Just family, no interruptions, a lot of food. I think I'm going to have to cut back.
Are you more Christmas Eve inclined or Christmas Day inclined?
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve is a lot of snacking, a lot of junk, stuff like that.
Do you host both days?
Yes.
You have people at your house both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
Yes.
Same people?
We try not to, I try to confuse people, tell them different things. But we do both because we just don't like to go other places.
Yeah.
We don't like other people.
Well, I can understand that. Couple questions I have for you. One, I mentioned yesterday the bald eagle is now officially the symbol of the United States, the official bird of the United States. It was legislation signed into law by President Biden just a couple of days ago.
Just in time for bird flu.
Exactly. What's your view? Is it you happy about the bald eagle finally getting his just desserts?
I think so. I think I thought it was.
Everybody did. Yeah, but it wasn't.
So it was just like it was.
It was on the seal, but I guess it wasn't the official bird.
You see, that's like false advertising. It was fake news.
Indeed.
200 years of fake news. But I like the symbolism of it. I like that it was almost extinct and then it came back, just like America.
Exactly. There you go. Hey, do you like Vivek Ramaswamy?
I don't know the man, but he sounds quite fetching.
Okay. All right. So Vivek Ramaswamy went on Twitter and he made some comments about American culture and workers. I'm going to read you what he said, and I just want to get your take. I want to hear if you agree with him or disagree. I'm going to read you most of what he said because it goes on for quite a bit. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineer over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. And he says, our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kind of parents, More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now, close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. There's a little bit more, but that's about it. You agree or disagree? What do you think? Is it a cultural problem as to why we're not producing the kind of engineers we need to be?
Well, first of all, this Ramaswamy guy, he doesn't know American culture. He comes in bad-mouthing our culture. We're the culture of the Super Bowl. We're the culture
Well, he was born here, in fairness.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay, but I don't think he gets the culture. The culture is, yes, we idolize sports figures and things like that. And there's plenty of third-generation Americans that work for NASA or SpaceX and all of that. So we do. I think he's taking I don't like that this guy's getting in charge and he's already bad-mouthing America. I mean...
Well,
what is he, an Indian American?
Yeah, well, his forebearers were from India, yeah.
Okay, so
but you don't
look. He wants to work 24/7.
No, but doesn't there have to be something to that? We have first generation Asians that come here, and they make it to all the elite schools, both college and high school. We have a lot of Indian families that come here. Same thing. What is it about these new immigrants culturally that's different, that's driving their parents and their children to succeed in a way that, as Vivek Ramaswamy calls them, native-born Americans aren't?
Well, I think a lot of it's poverty. You come from a really poverty-stricken area, and now you see that all your kid has to do is get good grades, and he's going to be upper middle class and live in a great house. Then you beat that kid. I think there's a lot more beatings in the...
I bet you're right.
Yeah, you beat a kid, and he's going to study hard. It's just like if you go to a Chinese restaurant. If there's a kid doing his homework next to the cash register, that's a great Chinese restaurant. Because they are really putting out their best.
All right, I want to pick your brain on some other... By the way, if people want to weigh in on this, I thought that was really interesting, and I suspect that's going to be something that people are going to be talking about a great deal over the course of the next couple of days. 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. My guest in studio is Fred Rubino. Fred, a precious little dog returned to a shelter for being too scared is apparently breaking people's hearts. Those first few days in a new home can obviously really be touch and go for a rescue dog. And while some dogs acclimate immediately, others might need a little time to find their groove. One woman in Massachusetts is really hoping to connect a rescue pup with a new family after the pup was surrendered for a frustrating reason. Someone needs to give the poor thing a second chance, according to what people are saying. Annabelle had a rough time recently. She was finally adopted, but she was returned for being, quote, too scared. What's your reaction to this story, Fred? It broke my heart.
Well, with my dog, when I leave the house, I put on like dog music and dog videos on YouTube. It soothes the dog. I think the shelter had like Fox News on all the time. And like the dog is watching Fox News and seeing Trump. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats and dogs. And I think he saw that. And maybe like a Haitian couple came in and he was like, I'm dead. Send me back. I want back.
You can understand why he was scared.
I think he was like, I'll take the shelter.
Hey, I brought this story up yesterday. I thought this was interesting. The story of this stowaway. And now, a month after this woman was caught stowing away on a Delta Airlines flight headed to France, ABC News has confirmed another unticketed individual was caught on a flight headed to Hawaii, this time on Christmas Eve. What is going on with all these stowaways? How are these guys getting on planes?
It's unbelievable. I don't understand it. I fly sometimes 5 times a month because I'm all over the place doing comedy. I can't bring toothpaste on. That's the family size. I can't bring cologne on. I can't bring a snow globe home because there's too much in it. This person smuggled in an entire human being.
It's amazing.
I had to take my shoes off because something might be in the shoes. There was a human being in those shoes, and it got through. All I want to know is, when you go on the plane, you go and you give your ticket, they scan it, you go on. Each single person. That person has to be fired. So that person let him in.
But, I mean, now it's happened multiple times.
Someone's got to be fired. I think you could train any human being on this planet to stand in front of the gate and say, the person hands you the ticket, you scan it, and then they go through. If you can't do that, you can't work at the airport.
Yeah, it's. I wonder if this culture of stowaways was always there, or if this is something that's recent.
They're just catching it, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering, right? I mean, what do you think?
Maybe, every so often you see somebody like stowed away in the wheel well, and like they fall from the sky. I think a lot of that's been happening, and they don't say nothing. But this is crazy. I mean, last time I flew. Like I said, I had this little pouch. It was like that gel to keep things cold. They searched me. I had hands on me like it was a bachelor party. It was crazy. She smuggled a human being.
It is extraordinary. You're familiar with Halle Berry, right?
I love Halle Berry.
She's 58 years old, and she. What does that sound?
I have to be alone for a while.
Okay, so she's getting a lot of attention this weekend because she posted a very steamy photo on social media. She shared a collection of photos from her tropical vacation with her boyfriend, Van Hunt, on Christmas Day, Wednesday, December 25th. And the first shot of the Christmas Day, collection of photos was a mirror selfie of Halle Berry in this black, low-cut, one-piece bathing suit. And I saw it. I found it very alluring. And she tucked her tasseled waves under a wide-brimmed hat and posed with her hip popped and her hand on the wall. Very, very sexy photograph, something that you might see in Maxim. Another selfie was in the same spot, but with a more festive flair. The star posed with a kissy face while wearing an oversized Grinch t-shirt. And the caption is, I can't decide if I want to be naughty or nice this Christmas, but I am having a hell of a good time. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Well, I could tell you right now, this is how Hollywood is just disjointed from rest of reality. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Right.
It is the time where God came down to earth to save us from our sins. The greatest gift the planet has ever seen. And instead of feeling remorseful or repentative, she felt like it's time to take racy pictures and send them out to family and friends. And it's just crazy, It's not appropriate. Now, July 4th, send me all the Halle Berry pictures you have. That's the time.
So your reaction to this surprised me, especially because you said you're a Halle Berry fan. You don't think that this is an appropriate thing on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day, come on. But this goes back to what I've said on the show many times. It depends on the person. You see, Halle Berry sends you a picture of a hip popped out and the things are in there, and you're like, yeah. But Rosie O'Donnell sends you her thong pictures, And you're offended.
That's a fair.
You're
a fair
nauseated,
criticism. That's
offended.
Okay. All right. Fred Rubino is here. If you want to comment, you certainly can. 646-720-0635. 646-720-0635. Doing the show with my real teeth tonight. It's a little new for me. 646-720-0635. My guest in studio is Fred Rubino. We'll continue straight ahead.
The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano. It's The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me.
The summer wind, Frank Sinatra. It is anything but summer right now. However, this is a birthday bumper music selection from Letizia Zingaripoli Ignazio, who is celebrating her birthday today, who I must say I have known for 22 years, and she has aged quite well in those 22 years.
Great name.
Isn't it?
Oh, my God.
Well, her maiden name was Zingaripoli. Her married name is Ignazio.
Well, who's to argue with that?
Exactly. Exactly. So there she.
It sounds like I'm getting a beating anytime soon. Very soon.
Are you a Sinatra fan, Fred?
I am.
You are. Do you have a favorite Sinatra song?
I like The Summer Wind. I like New York, New York. Things like that.
That was an Eliza Minnelli song originally.
Was it?
Yeah.
So, I like. I open for a lot of Sinatra singers, too. So I get to enjoy a lot of Sinatra music.
Do you? Who's your favorite? Would you say? I don't want you to make any enemies, but name a couple that you think are very talented. How about that?
Mike Martucci.
Martucci. I've heard such great things about him.
He puts on. I have not seen him yet. Now I forget the other guy's name. He plays the cutting room.
Steve Maglio.
Maglio.
Yeah, he comes on the show.
Maglio does a great, and he mixes it up with other people, too. So he puts on a fantastic show, too. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for Michael Martucci, never having seen him, but I've heard great things from people that know Sinatra, that he really is the bee's knees. Well, this is not very good news for me. Apparently, your sleep habits could be impacting your blood sugar. What exactly is the effect? For those of us that are night owls, let's say, what are the effects on our blood sugar?
There are no effects. Everybody stay up and listen to this channel. Don't listen to the fake news. You drink a lot of coffee and you stay up from 1 o'clock to 5. Then go to sleep.
Eastern. Exactly.
Eastern time. Yes. Don't believe the hype. Because all these night birds live a long time. Look at Allison Steele.
Exactly.
She's still alive. She's 111.
Is she still
I don't know,
alive?
but I think she is still alive.
Well, we'll explore that one. That is an interesting one. But what is the actual data suggesting about this?
I think they're saying that as you're up late, your sugar levels go crazy because you need sleep. And that's when your body regulates itself.
But what if you are a night shift worker and you get the same amount of sleep just during the day? Does that help you at all?
Yeah, I think what they're saying are people who work during the day and still have bad habits at night. They're not talking about people who are fans of late night radio. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You people stay up.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza.
Pizza.
Yes.
I like pizza.
And spaghetti.
Let me ask you, settle a dispute between my wife and me.
She's right. Let's get that.
We both like pizza, but I like every variety of pizza. And, there are a lot of pizzas that I enjoy and I'll order when we go to a fancy pizza establishment that might be white, right?
Right.
And a lot of different types of white pie.
Artichoke.
Right. Some pesto
Ricotta.
sometimes, a lot of different. She believes that in order for pizza to be pizza, 3 ingredients are essential: sauce, cheese, and crust. And that if it's missing one of those ingredients,
It's not pizza.
it's not pizza. So she believes that when I get a white pie, for instance, it's not really pizza.
How about a clam pie?
This is what I'm saying. Where do you stand on that question since you brought that up?
I am not a pizza snob. I will eat any pizza except maybe the pineapple and that crazy stuff.
Gotcha.
But clam pizza and the Detroit pizza I love all that
Same.
pizza.
Yeah, same here.
And the buffalo chicken pizzas.
No, that's a little too much.
Oh, I love it.
It's a little
Galamad
decadent.
pizza.
No, that's very good.
All right, see?
Okay, but anyway, my favorite food is eggs. I was very, very dismayed to learn that there is this recall of eggs at Costco because they may cause severe illness due to salmonella. And we're not talking about, a guy
My cousin.
from
Salmonella.
But the FDA has issued this warning in this new alert that these recalled Costco eggs may cause severe illness. Are you concerned about this?
Oh, you're the one who likes the eggs.
I do like them.
When
I'm
you
glad
say,
my wife canceled our Costco membership.
when they say you don't know when you're going to die? 2 to 3 weeks. They just told you. I don't understand how no one is responsible anymore. It's a big company like Costco. Costco knows everything you've ever bought your whole life at Costco. So they know, especially during the holidays, you buy like 3 dozen eggs at Costco because you're baking and stuff. So Costco knows that the Moranos bought 3 dozen eggs. You would think they would send you an email saying, by the way, you know that horrific dysentery that you have now? That's our eggs. They don't send you nothing. They know everything about it. Also, when you buy these eggs, they're telling you, bring them back for a refund.
Right. Well, why wouldn't you?
Just give me the refund. I have to bring in toxic eggs in the car with the kids. You think the people in Costco are trained to handle highly infectious salmonella eggs?
Yeah, it sounds like you don't think they are.
No, they're not capable of that. Just give me my money back. Email me that there's a big problem, and they have no responsibility. If you didn't see this in your daily news briefings, you would never know. You'd be sucking on eggs right now.
You're probably right. You're probably right. At 30 minutes after the hour, this is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Fred Rubino. You can learn more about him at fredrubino.com. Hey, by the way, if you're fortunate enough to be invited to my gala New Year's Eve party on Monday, Fred is going to be performing. We've spared no expense to get Fred out there. And by sparing no expense, I mean we've spared every expense in getting Fred out there. But I'm glad you're coming. Let me thank you publicly for that.
Well, if you're coming, I want to apologize now to anybody who I insult due to their age, religious background, sexual preference, race, creed, color, because I'll be covering a lot of those topics. So I apologize.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you mentioning that. But are you performing anywhere else that people should see you soon?
I will be in Clearwater, Florida in a week and a half at Side Splitters. I will be at in Naples, Florida, Off the Hook Comedy Club. And go to fredrubino.com for a lot of shows coming up in Florida.
Yeah, well, that is a great place to check out all of the Floridian Fred Rubino shows, fredrubino.com. That's Fred, RUBINO.com. Is there a seasonal change in stand-up? During the winter, do you find yourself more or less busy than at other times?
Summer is the dead time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, summer is the dead time because everybody goes out. They're at the beach. They're at clubs. They want to stay at the barbecue, at the pool. So the best place, believe it or not, in the summer to perform is Florida. Because it's 110 degrees and everybody wants to be inside in air conditioning.
By the way, Allison Steele is dead.
She is dead.
Yes.
Okay, that's the eggs. She was a big egg girl.
She died in 1995.
What?
She died. She's been dead for, I don't mean to
She's
laugh.
really milking that dead thing, isn't she?
She's been dead for almost 20 years.
She's always going to be dead. I got news for you. Wow.
And somebody, Ellen wrote me that they do send you a letter. Costco does send you a letter.
Did they send you?
Well, I don't think they did. No.
Maybe your wife hid it. All that pizza talk. Yeah, I'll show you. Frank, eat. Have your eggs, Frank.
Oh, no wonder she was making sure my life insurance premiums were paid up.
Load up.
We want to apologize to the family of Allison Steele for accusing her of being still alive.
Yeah, there was no reason for that.
Exactly. All right, let me run this by you. There's an article on BuzzFeed. A listener just sent me. 19 people, this is the article, really interesting, who died thinking that they took their secrets to their grave only to be revealed after their death. So these people died thinking this secret was safe, and all of a sudden they didn't learn, but if they were Allison Steele, they would learn,
that they died.
Exactly. One person writes that my uncle passed from AIDS and not cancer, like he said, right? That was the secret. Turned out he'd been sick for a really long time, and he felt like he could never share what he went through. Another person writes, my great-grandfather had another family that wasn't revealed until after he passed in his late 90s. He lived till I was in my mid-20s, and not once would I have ever suspected it. He was present at every family party, took me for haircuts once a month, and cut their lawn every week. It turned out my great-grandmother knew, but hid it from everyone in the family. She actually knew his other kids and families, and she told my dad, this is the person writing, while in hospice. The real kicker was one time when I was doing a family tree on one of those ancestry sites, it kept suggesting a public family tree I didn't recognize. Turns out it was his other family. Any stories like this, Fred, of people who died thinking they took a secret to the grave and all of a sudden it wasn't so secret?
Actually, that happened to me.
Tell me what happened. By the way, if you're just tuning in, this is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. My guest is Fred Rubino. What happened?
I went to my aunt's house and we're just hanging out.
How long ago was this about?
3-4 months ago.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
This is fresh, right?
So we find out that my grandfather came here illegally.
Whoa.
Illegal alien. He's Mexican. No, he's Italian. And he came here and we didn't know that. And then she said that he was living with some other woman for a while and then got back together with my grandmother. And there was talk that he had children from another marriage.
Really?
And I was like, what? And she says, I couldn't tell you this when my mother was alive because my mother was vehemently against it. Like, how
illegal immigration or adultery?
Everything.
Okay.
Not too much adultery.
Okay.
But she was like, how dare you talk about Papa like that? But my aunt was like, no, he got around and he was everybody was like so shocked. But this is after he's dead 30, 40 years. So I say keep your mouth shut. If you go, you had AIDS. You had illegitimate kids.
I thought the same thing with respect to Ed Koch. The New York Times did this whole, about 2 years ago, this whole front page story, whatever it was, 8 or 9 years after Ed Koch died, all about how he was actually gay and going into some detail about his relationships and everything. I really didn't understand what value there was to the public of outing him 9 years after his death.
If you didn't know Ed Koch was gay, you're blind. And he was just short of throwing confetti up in the air with a wig on his head. Come on, Ed Koch was as gay as could be, and no one cared. He was revered.
Yeah, he was. But why did the New York Times have to do that? I don't understand.
I think a lot of these if you notice, all the liberals out people. Never conservatives, because conservatives don't care. We don't care. Yeah,
Well,
the guy
I feel
was-
like if Andrew Breitbart was still alive, he would have no problem continuing to do some outing of people.
Well, maybe. I think Allison Steele wasn't gay, was she? It's time we outed her. She's been dead too long not to out her.
I can't speak to that. All right. 646-720-0635. 646-720-0635. My guest is the one and only Fred Rubino. We are chewing the fat on some of the issues of the day. Any New Year's resolutions, Fred? Are you a New Year's resolution guy?
Yes. I like to get even in the new year.
With whom? Who do you?
Everybody. You know, the car guy it was a little noise and it was $3,000 for the car. I want to get even with that guy.
Well, what are you going to do to get even with?
Well, what you do is you go buy a car for like $200 in the junkyard and you bring it in and you say, fix everything. And then you never come and take it back. And the guy works on it for a month and you say, I got you.
Well, that's why you're supposed to get multiple estimates. And what if you need that guy again?
No, you can't go back there.
Exactly.
Again. No, you can't. You got to go to another state and do it after that. Also, like in the gym, you know, you get even with people in the gym. You know, when you go on the bike or the treadmill, and it's always that same guy on it. You know what I do? I take the fuse out when I leave, and then it says, "Oh, it's broken." And then when I go back to the gym, I put the fuse in. It's like my own treadmill, and that's how I get even with the guy hogging the treadmill.
I like that.
I think if more people got even in the new year, it would be a better play. You'd be watching what you do this year.
Well, what about it? Isn't that really not much of a karmic way of thinking? Isn't that going to lead to a lot more, I don't know, negativity out there?
It leads to more time on the treadmill, I can tell you that.
I bet it does. How often would you say you go to the gym?
I go to the gym maybe once every 2 weeks. I like the candy machine. That's what I really get a good workout. Zag nuts and stuff.
All right. Fred Rubino is here. We're going to continue and still go into a couple of other news items that you may have missed this year. By the way, a little later, I am going to be covering some of the least reported stories of 2024. Do you have a pick for what you would say is the least reported or underreported story of 2024?
My career. My entire career.
The rise of Fred Rubino has not been covered?
Not been reported, not been advertised, all of that. I am the most unreported person.
All right. Well, hey, it could be. We'll see if we get to that. All right. 646-720-0635. This is The Other Side of Midnight with Fred Rubino. Straight ahead.
The Other Side of Midnight. It's The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano.
A stranger in the black sedan, won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby, I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman, by now I'm sure you know that I love you, I need you, I want you, got to have you trying. Great God in heaven, you know I love you.
Vehicle by the Ides of March. This is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. If you ever want to know what kind of music we're playing, you should join the Facebook group because each and every morning we post all of the songs in there that we play each day along with the artist. And it's also a great forum for commenting on the issues that come up on the show. If you want to join it, just go on Facebook and search Morano Radio Fans and Haters. That's MORANO Radio Fans and Haters. Fred, if memory serves, you're a member of that Facebook group, right?
I am.
You're a member of that Facebook group.
I am a member.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great group of people. Some people get a little rambunctious And but it's okay because it's free speech.
Exactly.
And but
as long as it's related to the show.
Yeah, some people go off on a tangent.
Right.
And they get involved with personalities and things like that. And I'm lucky I don't have a personality, but other people could be offended.
Yeah. Sean Hannity is now engaged to Ainsley Earhart. Any reaction to that?
Who's Ainsley Earhart?
She's
is that the blonde girl?
Yes, on the Fox News channel.
How long have they been going out?
I think a few years. I think it's been public for about 3 or 4 years now.
You don't date somebody in the workplace. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe you marry someone in the workplace.
No, even worse than that.
My father married at least 2/3 of his wives from meeting them in the workplace.
What was he, a harem? Did he run a harem?
They were consecutive, not simultaneous.
Oh, I see. Well, I think you need that break. You need to be away from your wife.
Well, I agree, but he works at night, she works in the morning, so it's not like they see one another.
Oh, that's good. That's good. See, if you never see each other, that's a marriage that'll last. You see, you got to get away from your wife once in a while. That's the only way. If you're with your wife 24/7, there's going to be a problem.
No, I agree. My wife hasn't seen me in days, and marriage has never been better.
Right. You call me, Freddie, come 2 a.m, get in the car. I'm there. You need anything from motor vehicles? I'll wait in line for you.
That's very nice. Well, so meanwhile, both Hannity and Ainsley Earhart have children from their previous marriages, and it's going to be interesting. They're older now. I think they're all teenagers. Everybody involved is a teenager. But I guess it's going to be interesting to see how to work not only being a public couple, but blending families. Any advice for them on that front?
Well, it's going to be tough.
Or I guess we should ask your great-grandfather.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for them both making it on like $30 million a year on their combined salaries. I don't know how much you think that buys these days, but, it doesn't go as far as you think.
Inflation is quite tough.
Oh, Bidenomics, the eggs. He's got to bring his Costco eggs back now. And so, yeah, the last thing I would do if I was divorced and making a lot of money and famous is get married again.
Everyone always says that, and then everyone always does it. Johnny Carson was famous for that. He would make always, in private and in public, say that he was never getting married again, and he would always get married again. And apparently at the time he died, he was contemplating, they were working towards getting divorced again.
There you go. See? He lived a life of misery, this guy. If I was him, I would say, no, don't get married again. Have very young girlfriends and be in the public light of being one of those guys.
There you go. That's it's sound advice, I suppose, right?
Yes.
All right, 646-720-0635. I know we're in football season now. Did you watch any of the Christmas Day football games?
I watch all football.
Really?
I love football.
A lot of people were criticizing the decision to air these games on Netflix rather than on a conventional network. What was your opinion on that?
I think these days of people buying the rights to things, you either buy the rights to the whole NFL or not. I don't like this. You got to search for it. I'm texting people. Where is it on? It's on Netflix. It's streaming. It's on YouTube Plus, ESP. I don't like it. Put the NFL on. One company's got to buy all the rights so we could watch it and we could gamble our kids' nest egg away.
Well, I guess that's what the NFL Network does, right?
No, you got to pay for that. It's like $300 for the year, $400 a year.
Well, but again, that's the idea: is you pay,
no good,
and you get to watch all the games.
I don't dig it. I don't dig that at all. All my money for football goes on gambling, not to pay to watch it.
So on Christmas Day, I saw a little bit of that Beyonce Knowles halftime show in Texas. I guess it was Houston. Look, there you go. There's one of the cable news networks is covering it now. 65 million people streaming these NFL games. That was big. Did you watch any of the Beyonce performance?
I watched it all.
What did
I was pressed up against the TV while she was.
So, what did you think of her performance?
She's just magnificent. I didn't hear any of it, but she is just a magnificent human being, and she's in a negligee with. I mean, it's just the best. This is what every halftime show should be. Not Justin Timberlake. Who wants to see him?
Well, I know her daughter was part of that halftime show as well. Beyonce's daughter,
Really?
who apparently is a singer as well, which I didn't know.
No, I didn't notice anything else except her.
Now she's married, as you know, to Jay-Z.
Right.
Jay-Z is now implicated in this P. Diddy situation. He's being sued by a young woman who, I don't know how young she is now, but at the time that she's accusing P. Diddy or Jay-Z and P. Diddy of sexual abuse, she was 13 years old. Came out yesterday that she's going to get to remain anonymous, not have to give her name. You think that's a good idea?
Well, listen, if she was a minor when she did it and when it happened, maybe you protect her. But now that she's an adult, if you're going to accuse someone of rape, and not only rape, drugging you and all of that, and you should face your accusers.
That's kind of my view, right? I don't want to be insensitive.
No, I'm not insensitive. And by the way, just bring in that picture of Beyonce and say, why does this guy need anything else but that? I mean, I'd live in the street if I had Beyonce.
All right. Speaking of sports, a couple of weeks ago, it was reported, I talked about it on this program at the time, that they're considering this idiotic rule in baseball called the golden at-bat rule, where you would apparently once per game be allowed to bring in your best hitter in a clutch situation. It's absurd. I'm curious.
Just once,
right.
Once a game.
That's my understanding.
You could pick in a situation where you need your best hitter.
Right.
Even if the best hitter was on base.
That I don't know. Well, it's not a really well thought out rule proposal at this point. It's really just kind of an idea at this point.
Well, everything is about offense. All the sports now is about offense. So to bring more offense in, I think the best offense is, I love, juice these people up, get them on steroids again. Having 3 home runs in a game is great. Juice them up. I paid $200 for a ticket. I want to see 3 home runs. But if you're going to have a golden at-bat, let's have a rusty at-bat. The other team, anytime, could pick your worst player. How about that? If you use the golden, there should be a rusty bat.
I actually like that. I think that's not a bad. Not a bad scenario. Hey, do you remember Jeffrey Owens from the Cosby Show? He was a character on the Cosby Show, and he did well. He was on there for several seasons. He was married to one of the Cosby daughters. And then he's also the son of a former congressman from Brooklyn. And it was discovered that he apparently was working in a Trader Joe's grocery store in 2018. And he got outed online. And he kind of got shamed for working, which I thought was terrible. The guy's trying to make a living. And
I think it was more about Trader Joe's, because those are the most annoying people on earth. You buy something at Trader Joe, they start giving you a conversation. Oh, what are you making with this? Oh, I love these. Just shut your mouth. I'm buying bananas. It's not that shocking.
So anyway, it came out that he was having a tough time making ends meet. Apparently, it's now been reported that he was forced to quit Trader Joe's amidst the attack on his privacy, and he's having a very tough time. Can't we do something for this guy? I can't understand why he's not on Cameo or something, being able to make all sorts of money.
I think it's very commendable that no matter what it is, I'll work no matter what the job is. Right,
I think so.
So if you see me sweeping the floors here at WABC, I don't want anybody making fun of me, all right?
I think that's
I won't mop, but I will sweep. But yeah, that was very commendable of him. And I bet you he comes back in Hollywood because he has a work ethic.
Well, they should. Somebody should give this guy an opportunity.
Yeah.
If I was making
he is
movie,
working.
Where is he working?
Tyler Perry gave him a job, and he has a recurring role on Damon Wayne's new show. I forgot the name of it.
It sounds like
CBS.
a very popular show.
Yes, so he's doing okay.
Is he? Because it's being reported that he went on this podcast and he's still struggling.
No, he's okay because he was on Power, played an attorney. Because this story is about 4 years old. This is not recent.
You have slow internet.
No. It was 6 years old that he was caught at Trader Joe's.
But
he's saying now that he had to quit Trader Joe's And now that he did an interview on an Atlanta radio station on December 18th, and he said, quote, I struggle every day to make my ends meet, and people can't get their heads around that because they see me in movies. You're part of the problem. You can't get your head around it.
I knew he was part of the problem.
Right.
I just didn't want to say it on the air.
Tony's looking down at Jeffrey Owens from his ivory tower, from his mansion.
Right.
And, poor Jeffrey Owens is begging for an opportunity to be a day laborer at Tony's. And here we are.
But that's the way it used to be, right? Remember like you hear...
You turn your mic off there. Or Tony did because he wasn't crazy about...
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my fault.
I told you he's the problem. Yeah. You used to hear like Mickey Mantle would work in the off season and stuff. I think actors should work in between roles. They should be out there.
That's what you did with construction and comedy, right?
That's exactly what I did. Every time I was in between construction, I'd be doing comedy and vice versa.
I think that's great. By the way,
but never Trader Joe's.
That golden at-bat rule with baseball, it reminded me of this episode of American Dad. Do you watch American Dad?
No.
Great show, in my opinion, where the young man on that show, the kid, Steve, he ruins baseball. He creates this futuristic version of baseball. Here's a little bit of what that says.
You're ruining everything. This isn't baseball anymore.
Baseball was on life support. Its family members were gathered at the hospital. It was peeing into a bag. Orderlies were stealing its valuables.
Steve, our live stream ratings are through the roof. Promoting you to Deputy Commissioner of Game Development.
But that'll put him in charge of rule changes, and he's wrecking everything.
I was thinking it would be kind of cool if the pitcher used a crossbow to shoot the ball at the batter.
Genius! But what about the batters? Wouldn't that be a little unfair to them?
Who cares about the batters? They'll be on horseback.
Horses? Yes.
Is this where we're headed? This movement for younger and younger baseball fans is going to lead us here, isn't it?
I think I saw that kid at Walmart bagging groceries the other day. So he's up and down too. But yeah, you can't wander too far away from the rules.
Apparently you can.
But we've already made some very nice.
We've already made some significant changes. So there's that. Fred Rubino, check him out. He's performing in Florida, performing in Atlantic City. You can see all his dates at fredrubino.com. And we're not paying him anything to perform in Atlantic City, but I'll tell you what, we'll pass the hat around once, and whatever gets thrown into the hat, we'll give to Fred. So there's that. All right. Thank you, Fred. It's been a pleasure
for
as
having
always.
me.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. And thank you sincerely for all your great contributions to this program this year.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy to everybody.
Why did you look at Tony when you said Happy Kwanzaa? That was a little
because I don't want to get my ass kicked. That's
okay.
Why.
I mean, Tony's black, and you're looking at him when you said Happy Kwanzaa. That was a little presumptuous.
Well,
how do you know Elias is not celebrating Kwanzaa?
I don't know what's going on with Elias. I'm afraid to even look at him. He's got that look to him like I'll kill somebody.
He does have an intimidating demeanor about him.
You see how far away Tony is from him?
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be out the window if he was even further.
He knows the score. All right. Thank you, Fred.